So, a lot has happened. Just came from Paul right now, so I was watching the game, and it's quite a long drive down back to Cape Town to where I obviously stay. And it's an opportunity now for me to chat to you guys and update you on the day of cricket. I saw some great cricket at the G-Bets Rocks versus the Titans game at Borland Park. There's been some excellent games all around, and I think we're going to update you on that first and foremost before we get into our Q&As. So when it comes to the four-day competition, I'm gonna do a quick wrap before we get into the nitty-gritty of things. There's been quite a few things that went down. Rudy second in the Warriors versus Western Province. We saw Breccia was caught behind after 100 runs, and Rudy second scored 76 of 136 balls. And the Warriors finished the day on 285 for 6. In the Northwest, Dragons versus the Dolphins match, there was some good momentum by Marcus Ackerman, unbeaten 98, and Bryce Parsons, unbeaten 56, scoring runs, once again sharing an 101-run partnership. And earlier, Delano Potgieter ripped through the visitors' batting order with a fine performance that saw him finish with the day's figures of 3 for 34 in 14 overs. And the Proteas number 3 batter Keegan Peterson scored yet another half century, but failed to capitalize as Potgieter bowled him out for 54 of 91 deliveries. And the Dolphins will start the day on 213 for 3 tomorrow. Then the Lions versus the Knights. Tuan Olivier once again showing some excellent form. He's ripping through the Knights. 5 for 54. He finished in 12.5 overs. That means he has 25 wickets in the competition so far, in 3.5 games, basically. The Knights won 67 for 2 at one point, but they disappointingly collapsed at 124 all out. On the other hand, the Lions batters put on a decent performance, and they posted 55 for 1 before bad light stopped playing in Johannesburg. So the Rocks versus the Titans. The Rocks bowled very, very well. And it was Neil Brunt that stood. He fought hard and he batted excellently. But we have to take our hat off to Zakele Kwabe and Huddersfield. The visitors were 9 for 2 after 2.1 overs. In the previous game, Centurion, Grant Makwena and Dean Algo were dismissed cheaply for 4 runs in this particular game and 5 runs respectively. But it was Neil Brunt, like I said, that stood out. He scored in a magnificent 100. I watched every single ball. He really marshaled the innings. He really stood there at the crease, and he was really holding the innings together. So he batted excellently. With regards to the Titans, they were all out for 308. We saw a little bit of Chris Morris. He was performing a little bit over there, putting some good runs together. Kwabe finished with bowling figures of 4 for 14, and Mahima was excellent. He finished with 2 for 70, and Huddersfield with 2 for 77. And the Cobras will resume their 2 on 0 for 2 after 2 overs. So that's majority of what we have for you guys with regards to that. And we're going to be talking a little bit about SAA as well and everything, but we want to get your questions in as well. But before we get going, before we get started, before we do any of those things, please subscribe to Cricket Fanatics magazine, and it's 100% free. In every single month, you can do that right now by clicking the link in the description. Smash the like button as well. Smash the comment in the comment section, smash the subscribe button, click that notification bell for all future videos as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's content. I'm going to be bringing Jadeja on right now, and you guys can get involved in the comment section and ask us some questions. Good evening, guys. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine, and this is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid. This is my co-host, Jadeja, and today you guys get an opportunity to ask us questions. Now, we normally have this on a Friday, but seeing that the Netherlands will be playing South Africa, we're obviously going to be doing a review show after the game. So there's not going to be an opportunity for us to do our Q&A with you. So I brought it a day forward so we can have a conversation with you guys. First and foremost, Aditya, do you just want to give a quick summary of the SAA game and how that's going for the guys so that they can see what's going on and your perspective of
Sorry, I'm mute. Yeah, it's a typical Bloemfontein game, to be honest,
yeah.
because after South Africa A made 509 for seven, India is currently at 308 for four at the end of the day, and there were some key performances from the captain Priyank Panchal, who made 96. Also key performance from Abhimanyu Ishwaran. Just to remind everyone, Abhimanyu Ishwaran is an almost certain India potential because he traveled with the team to England as a reserve player, and he batted at number three. So yeah, he scored a very good century, 103, and yeah. So as of now, it looks like if Baba Aparijit and Upendra Yadav get going, Upendra Yadav being the wicketkeeper, um, anything can happen, But I think all in all, it's going to be a draw. It's a question of this is a game where you almost take the batting for granted, and the the winner will be the one who bowled better. So let's see. I think it's going to be a draw.
Yeah, I think everybody can just go with that. That is probably going to be a draw. Aditya, I'm going to let you go first with regards to the questions today. Pick out a first question for you and let's get this going.
Okay, let's see. Delhi Capitals have picked Nokia ahead of KG. Thoughts? Interesting. Um, yeah, I noticed that. Look, I think retentions are a matter of they're a matter of the balance of the team, but they're also a matter of economics, and they're probably going to have, yeah. I think in they probably have their eyes on players like Avish Khan, who they'll probably get back in the auction because there are quite a few Indian bowlers now who can bowl those death overs. So they'll probably go for it, or they might even go for KG in the auction again. But they probably saw Noke playing a certain role in the team, and yeah, I guess his consistency over the two seasons has been better than KG's, so he's been
Hmm.
rewarded for it.
I think that's the only way I can look at it. It's probably on form and extreme pace. That's the only way I can look at it when it comes to maybe KG is holding back an opportunity for a young Indian player to come through the system. That is maybe they also see as someone that has extreme pace or has control or can be that in that play that KG role. I was surprised a little bit. I am surprised a little bit by that though. KG is a world class bowler, but at the moment, Amrit Nokia is kind of being more consistent in the white ball arena. Matthew
Yeah,
got a good 100 today. That's true.
very good.
Um, but also, you need to look at the bowling attacks as well. Western Province currently are sitting with a bowling attack. They're not very experienced. They're missing all their main bowlers. So, yes, Matthew took the opportunity and scored the runs, and he must be commemorated for that because he's an excellent batter, and I'm a big fan of his. PHK Olify, outstanding performance. How long selectors will avoid the performance? I don't think they're avoiding the performance. I think that South Africa currently are rewarding guys that have done it for a long time and guys that are currently in the system. Not so long ago, Olivier said he wanted to play for England. So until he changes his mind and is out and speaks out completely and says, "Look here, guys, I would like to play for South Africa again." We did ask him the question on our live interview, and he said his focus is on the Lions. He's not going to really left the door a little bit open, but I think he's leaving his options open in general. So I think we want to reward guys that are currently in the system, and I think I respect South Africa and CSA for doing that. With regards to Matthew Brzezinski, He's in a line of a lot of all-rounders currently. There are so many all-rounders putting up their hand. There's Eddie Moore, there's Ryan Rickleton, there's Grant Rulofson, there's Matthew Brzezinski. There's so many all-round openers that are Tony Rizorzi maybe at the moment as well, putting up their hand and really saying that they want to play for South Africa and for the national team. So we also still got Dean Alga and Aiden Markram in the team as well. We've got Sarel Earweir, we've got there's so many Eddie Moore, there's so many names that I can mention. So the time will come when the opportunity comes. I hope that these players perform. That's the thing. So I think we must just be patient and trust the guys that are currently in the system. What do you think, Aditya?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there is talent in the system, but at some point when you make selections, you have to think about who is that player going to replace. At the moment, players like Kyle Verena are having to sit out for extended periods of time. So he's in that second crop of players. I think, you know, Braidsky, Reynard Van Tonde, Ryan Rickleton are probably in that third crop of players, who have to wait it out a little bit, still hone their skills in the domestic scene and then make that step up.
To be very honest, Khalid, is no point in having this discussion over the domestic performances. Victor Ipasang won't select him anyway. He always ignores the domestic performances. I wouldn't say that he ignores domestic performances. I think the reason why Peter Malan is in the setup, the reason why a guy like Ryan Rickleton's getting opportunities in white ball cricket now against the Netherlands, I think the reason why we are seeing the likes of Eddie Moore getting called up after um, for in this particular setup as well, because he is now part of the SAA setup. I think there was an injury, and now he's part of the setup. The reason we're seeing guys like Linton Stearman and all of those guys get opportunities, Sisanda Magala getting opportunities, is because of their domestic performances. The reason Kyle Verheyen is getting opportunities because they're commemorating good domestic performances. So George Linder got an opportunity in the first place because of his domestic performances. So I don't think that we are ignoring domestic performances. I just feel that we as fans sometimes, I'm not talking for all of us, I'm talking for myself, maybe I want them to make two quick decisions of chopping and changing and not giving guys extended runs of form in the team and extended runs in the side. I think whenever someone doesn't perform, we want to chop and change. And I think South Africa also are very also they might take very long to decide to not give a guy an opportunity. For example, Temba Bavuma. A lot of us people were talking for his head. We wouldn't have seen him perform the way he performed in this World Cup if we dropped him ultimately. There are some guys that called for David Miller back in the day. I remember they would have called for David Miller, myself included. We wouldn't have seen David Miller perform the way he has in recent times if we had to just drop him and just put someone in new and start from fresh. So we need to find a balance of when to call for people's heads and when not to. I think that's the case, and we need to be smart about it, because just because someone performed in domestic cricket this season doesn't mean they automatically deserve a Proteas call up, because that means we can just hand out Protea caps like it's nothing. So they need to actually show certain attributes that we need. Remember, you need to look at the bowlers that they played against. You don't just consider, oh, he scored 100, now he must be in the team. So look at the bowlers they're playing against. Look at the ground they're playing on. Look at the consistency and where if there's variations in the grounds that they played for. Because you need to look at a bat in domestic cricket and look at the different grounds. Because in South Africa, every ground gives you different demons. It provides different challenges for you. Not every ground is going to be exactly the same. So if a batter bats well at Bloemfontein, doesn't mean he's necessarily going to bat well in Kingsmead, in Durban. So you need to look at all those various factors. You need to look at how, if they were under pressure or not in the match situation, or whether they're batting to draw a game. Were they looking to chase down a massive score, or were they looking just to put as much on the board? What stage of the game did they come into? You need to look at all of those factors as a selector. You can't just look at this guy scored runs, he must be in the team. There's multiple factors. I have to give some credit to Victor, because he was at the game in last week, Western Province game, to watch the Titans versus Western Province. So he was obviously there to see some guys perform and see how they were playing. And he took time out where we could have been on holiday, or he could have been somewhere else, but he took time to come out to the 4 days and watch every single minute of the game. So I'm sure he's going to be doing that at other grounds too and going around and looking. And I'm sure they have scouts doing that for them too. Let's go to the next question. Uh, Khalid, do you think that Peter Maran will be selected for India Test? Then I would like you to ask you a question. Who must be dropped for Peter Maran to come into that side? Because we are talking about either Dean Alga or Aiden Markram to be dropped so that Peter can play. So if that's the case, I would like to hear your thoughts on that. So I'll reverse that question. So I don't count, doesn't count as a question, I don't think, Aditya. Let's move on to the next one. Here we go for you, Aditya. What are your thoughts on Ajinkya Rahane? Will he play the SA series?
Yeah, Rahane is in. Yeah, he's not in the best form, and he's been out of it for quite a while. Um, so I'm sure there is a lot of pressure on him because uh, there's so many people who are calling for his head. Um, what's really saving him right now is that he is a brilliant captain, tactically and as a person. His people management skills are unbelievable. But will he play the SA series? I think he'll definitely go to South Africa. I don't think he'll be out of the. I don't think he'll be out of the squad. But I think Rahane has a lot of work to do in this New Zealand series. If he gets a score of note in the second innings of this first Test match or the second Test match, he's definitely going to South Africa, and I think he'll be in the 11 as well. Because remember, Ajinkya Rahane is a very good player overseas. His overseas record is better than his home record, and he likes pace. He likes the ball coming onto the bat. So I think they'll take that into consideration when they're making selections.
Mhm. Where is Grant Lawson? Grant Lawson is currently injured. That's where he had surgery. So that's where Grant Lawson is. I need to actually check up to see how he's doing. I'm going to send him a message after the show. I think Tony DeZorzi is the next Miller. Who are you backing in the Women's Big Bash League final on Saturday? The Marazan Cup will go head to head against Dana Panikic and Laura. So I'm always going to be in Laura's corner and Dana Panikic because they would like two of my favorite players in the women's setup, even though I love Marazan Cup as well. So it's confusing, but I'm going to go with Laura Wolfart. Who are you picking in that particular final there, Ditya?
I mean, I think for the sake of some sort of competition, I will have to pick Marizan Cap. No?
He likes to go against me, this guy. Okay, let's look at the next one. Aditya and Khalid, Yanaman to get a contract in the upcoming IPL mega auction. I'm hoping so. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping so because it will be excellent, excellent experience for him, particularly to play against the spinners. I think he really needs to adjust his aggressive game against the spinners. So Yanaman currently has found a way to survive against the spin. That's what I've noticed in recent series. He's played a lot more cautiously and he's learned how to survive against the spin. I want to see Yanaman learn how to attack the spinners and put pressure on them so that it's no longer a weakness, like Aiden Markram. Aiden Markram currently looks like he can attack the spinners and put pressure back on them. So I would like to see that. What is your thoughts? Do you think that will happen, Aditya? Do you think that they are looking at him hard?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure franchises they've got their eyes set on it. Uh, Whether he gets picked in the auction or not is a separate question because I think generally uh, there isn't there isn't really a shortage of top four batsmen in India. So you have to be really good, really experienced to be able to make a top four in any franchise team in the IPL. So yeah, but I mean, I hope for his sake, I hope that Yanaman gets a contract. I hope the British Shamsi gets a contract. Rassi Vendadusan, Aiden Markram. I want all of these guys to play. I want Timba Bavuma to play the IPL. If he gets a gig in the IPL, I think it'll do wonders for his white ball game.
100%. This is an excellent question from Lorenzo. Aditya, what is the expectation in India of the tour to South Africa? I would love to hear that.
Okay, I was at the Nets the other day, and a group of players, who trained along with us, were talking about the India series, India tour of South Africa, and the overwhelming sentiment was that India will win comprehensively.
Hmm. What we need to do for you, by the way, I'll talk to you off air rather. I'm going to say this on air. Never mind. Price, oops, I almost let our mouth go. Okay, your thoughts on Ashwin versus Jadeja for SA Test, Aditya? Would you go with four seamers and Jadeja or three seamers and Ashwin?
Yeah, interesting question. Look, I think in the Ashwin versus Jadeja debate, there's no doubt that Ashwin is the most skillful spinner, but Jadeja, he wins that battle because he's a more complete package. And just today, he scored a 50 under pressure against New Zealand. He's a very tight bowler, and he's obviously an electric fielder. So I think his overall package gets him the nod ahead of Ashwin. But I think ultimately it will come down to it's going to come down to what the conditions are on the day, and what matchups they come up with for that
Mhm.
for that particular game.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, Marco Jansen is exactly. Marco Jansen is a quality, impactful left arm quality bowler. Yes, he is. But I mean, guys, we are literally fast tracking these guys so quickly into the national side. It's like they barely played. Like we did this with Vian Mulder, um, who really was an exception to the rule because the boy was excellent. Let them play some domestic cricket. They're only 20 years old, 21 years old. Like, let them play some domestic cricket and get some experience and play. Um, then they need to. I think Janssen also needs to improve his batting a lot in the 4 day arena before we just push him into the. Remember that when you're playing Test cricket, it's a hell of a lot of pressure on you, on your body, on everything. So it's something that you need to be careful also of just rushing anybody into the national side. They need to also be conditioned. Remember, these school kids don't play long format cricket. They need to condition their bodies too. If we force them to play 5 day cricket instantly and they get injured, it's going to be a big issue because it can mess up the entire career. Would you rather want to see Marco Jansen be fast tracked too quickly or too soon, get perform poorly or get injured and then never see him play again? I would rather make sure that they give him the best opportunity in his career. We need to see him play more 4 day cricket. It's as simple as that. I would love him to play international cricket. Of course, I would. I'm a big fan of Marco Jansen, but I don't believe that we should fast track everybody. Certain players should be because there's a necessity in the team. Like, for example, a guy like Reinhard van Tonde too. This season, he hasn't been in his best form, and we need to see him do that a lot better. Um, on a serious note, Khalid, do you watch what? What's Kabaddi? Aditya, are you going to like educate me here or what?
Yeah, it's well, I mean, Praneeth, I'll answer that question for you. If he doesn't watch kabaddi.
But
to
what
be
is it?
to be perfectly fair, it's a contact sport, and it's basically played between uh, seven players and two teams. So it's like the objective is that like one player gets into the opposing team's court. You know, so
I'm
you
watching a video
raid
now on
their
YouTube.
court.
I'm
Yeah.
going to be what? So explain to me while I check this thing out.
Yeah, I
What is
mean
it similar?
that's
What
the
is it
objective.
similar to? Like,
See, it's
what
like you
can
have two sides. So you have seven players on this side, seven players on this side, and on each side, you basically are trying to breach that defense. And like one player is trying to go unimpeded into the other side. One player from this side is coming unimpeded into this side. So that's the objective. So then you get points based on the number of sort of breaches you can engineer.
holy flip? So it's almost like wrestling and rugby combined almost. It looks like it to me. If I'm looking at this particular, I'm looking at this
We have
highlights.
we have a franchise system for Kabaddi as well. It's called the Pro Kabaddi League,
Wow. Okay, I'm
and
gonna do some more research on that, Pranit.
there are plenty of celebrities who've got stakes in the various Kabaddi teams.
That's
So it's
crazy.
like a Kabaddi IPL.
I'm gonna have a look. What's your thoughts on fast bowlers? Abrams, I think he's very talented. I think he needs some more time in domestic cricket to really show what he's capable of. He's now being loaned out from Poland to Western Province, where he played last year for the Cobras. So um, hopefully we get to see more of him. I think I love his attitude. I love his story and his background. So yeah, we interviewed him as well on our channel, so you can go ahead and look at him to find out more from him. Khalid Abad Aiden batted four and then Manand opened with Alga. Still, who's going to drop? Who are you going to drop for that? Even if that happens, if Peter comes in, someone needs to be dropped from the team. I mean, I don't mind the idea of Aiden batting at four. I think some of the best batters in the world bat three at four. So I wouldn't mind. I'm not against that idea at all. But like I said before, I would like to see some of the senior guys take more responsibility so that we can work Calvarena into the team. Because I really would like to see Calvarena come into this team sometime. And I would like to see not KG, sorry, Quinny and Timba take more responsibility in this test team. We still got Rassi. We still have obviously we still have Rassi. We still have Keegan Peterson. So um, I don't know. I do think that Peter Malan was a little bit hard done by, of course, because he did well against England, and then he got dropped when Aiden came back. But Aiden Markram is Aiden Markram, guys. You have to find a spot for Aiden Markram. Um, I would like to know who you guys think should be dropped, because I'm thinking that you guys are probably thinking Temba Bavuma, but I think that in that position he plays quite well where he's currently playing. But I would like to see him obviously take more responsibility.
But Trevor, why fix something that isn't broken? Aiden's doing well as an opener. Why move him to four? Rassi's doing well at four. Why move him just out of position? You know, I mean, You look at Rassi's. I think he made 75 odd in that second innings of the second test in the West Indies. That was a match-winning innings. And
Yeah.
why move him? Why disturb him? You know,
Khalid, what's your thoughts on Aishul Kluti? He's a good bowler, hasn't gotten a proper opportunity. I've followed Aishul Kluti's career from day one. So not from day one for him, but day one for when he was in the Kaimajolo system. I was on the panel with regards to picking heroes of the days, etc. And I helped Victor Pinsang and the panel over there to pick the heroes of the days for by voting. So I was part of that panel at the Kaimajolo week in Johannesburg in that year. And I saw Aishul Kluti completely dominate that series. He was 16 turning 17 in that week, and he completely dominated. Like people couldn't play him. He was unplayable. I think he got, if I remember correctly, 13 or 14 wickets that particular time on Jordan weekend as a fast bowler. That is quite impressive. And a lot of the times he was so good that he was unplayable to the degree that it was just missing the inside edge or outside edge. That's how good he was. But the problem with Aishul came with his injuries. He's been injured a hell of a lot, and every single time he got an injury and got an opportunity to play, then he get injured again, and he was just hampered by injuries consistently. And that's the problem with our fast bowlers. And the problem with fast bowlers in South Africa as well is particularly when they play the longer format, their bodies can't handle the amount of overs they have to bowl so quickly because the jump from junior cricket to senior cricket in South Africa is so massive. These youngsters at school level are not getting opportunities to play the longer format enough. And I've always spoken about two-day cricket maybe being introduced in club cricket again because they took that away. they need more opportunities to play the longer format, because when they jump from school cricket and only playing this ODI and T20 cricket, all of a sudden you have to jump to 4-day cricket and you're bowling 20 overs. Like, it's not like you're bowling a couple of overs, you're playing 20 overs, 30 overs sometimes. So, like, there, it's a lot. It's very taxing on the body. So I think that we need to prepare our young bowlers as well, because they're coming, and a lot of them are scrawny guys. They haven't put on a lot of muscle yet. They're still growing, and now you're asking them to bowl so many overs at such a young age, so quickly from the jump. There's no transition or slowly forcing, slowly going into that system. So, I should get a good bowler. You'll get opportunities at all.
And the other thing with South Africa is that there's a difference between bowling in the high world or bowling in Cape Town versus bowling at Bloemfontein. You bowl on a green mamba, when it's probably easier on your body versus bowling on a flat road in Bloemfontein, where it's more taxing on your body. You have to do more work to get your wickets. So it's not easy. It requires a certain level of fitness. I think South Africa is blessed in that because it's such a sport friendly nation, and players grow up playing a lot of sport. Um their fitness levels are high, but it's still hard on the body. Fast bowling is tough.
Werner. I wish you could have come on here and said this. I'm not gonna even read out the comment, guys. You guys can read it and have a laugh. Bukhari based Stephen Tate. I've heard that he's injured. I'm not 100% sure. I need to check with the Warriors, but from my information that I've gotten is that he's injured. That he's coming back from injury. Khalid, a pastry of KG, Nokia, and Olivier will destroy India. I agree. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing Olivier in that side, like getting selected. Me personally, I mean, what he's been doing in domestic cricket has been excellent. Lutza Pamla as well, though. So I don't know. That Lions trio are excellent, and I would like to see them obviously in the setup. I don't know where Olivier stands. We tried asking him, guys. You all were there for the interview. We tried asking him, but I don't think he's gotten any communication with regards to that. I don't know where he stands from his perspective personally.
Look, I think one thing that Lorenzo, look, I know it's tempting to play KG, Nokia, and Olivier, but you need to realize that KG and Nokia, they play in the subcontinent a lot. A lot of the Indian batters are familiar with KG and Nokia. Sure, they're different beasts with the red ball in hand. Tuan Olivier's stock ball is a short ball. He bowls a lot of short pitch bowling. But you need to think, if your top four Indian batters are Rohit Sharma, who's very good with the pull shot. KL Rahul is very good with the pull shot. Cheteshwar Pujara can stand there all day long. Virat Kohli is very good with the pull shot. What's the point of playing Duan Olivier then? Because Duan Olivier's best series in international cricket was, I think, when he took 26 wickets against Pakistan. Pakistan, they're not typically great players or short pitch bowling. So it works in them, but that's not necessarily going to work against India, who play short pitch bowling better.
Yeah, but Duan Olivier did say that he's added some extra. He called this ball short anymore. He done
Sure, yeah. I
interview.
mean, but
Just go watch our
to be
interview. To the guys out there, not you, Daddy Channel, you watch them. I'm trying to look for the next one. Someone asked me about, Dex asked me about fans in the stadium. I think there will be a crowd tomorrow. I just want to read out the press release that we got. You got the press release as well, I think. I'm just trying to find it quickly. Media protocol. Okay, there's media protocols for the first ODIs. I don't know if they. I think there will be though. I saw there's a competition going around as well. There was a competition going around on SABC for tickets, but I don't know if that was for this or the India series. Um, we'd have to read this, guys. I haven't read this press release quite yet. To see if there's anything about fans. I don't see. This is just about media. So yeah. The Ralph Rangnick era. Yes, I know. I'm very excited about this, Dex. I'm extremely excited about this because it's exactly what I wanted. So I hope it goes over the line. Um, let's see what happens. Uh, oh, here we go. This is for you, I think, Aditya. Channel IST, SA versus Netherlands. Isn't that for Indian Standard Time? I don't know if he's asking
That
me
is
with.
in standard time. Um, yeah, I don't know, mate. I think it's either going to be playing on Hotstar or on Sony Live. I don't know.
Yeah. I know in South Africa, it will be, I think SABC is playing it.
Okay.
And Supersport, of course, as per usual. Let me just wait before I speculate here. Let me just go and check. Let me just go and check because I have the screenshot on my phone. Um, yes, so it will be. There will be fans at the stadium, and Supersport will be playing it. So and SABC. According to they're having a competition that I'm taking that they probably are. Um, Khalid trying to be cheeky. A max 2,000 fans are allowed, Khalid. Yes, max 2,000 fans are allowed. Um, Joshua Stevenson, under 19 fast bowler. Yes, be cautious with him as well. I say just give him some time into the setup. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe, and also subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. The link is in the description. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you guys again tomorrow for the review show of the first match between South Africa and the Netherlands. I would like to hear what you guys think about it. So in the show afterwards, give your predictions and who you think should win, who you think will win, and who you think will perform in the match. Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow evening. Bring all your comments. Maybe we'll do a fan calling so you guys can have your say. So let's get straight into it. Enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy the match. Cheers, everybody.